Okay guys, I've been asked a few questions over the last couple of days regarding the bar rig. Now, I've used it in one of the features I've done on the Match Pro down at B-Sands. And obviously due to fishing at the time, I didn't really get a chance to go into depth with the rig itself. It's a rig what's been introduced to me this year, to be honest. It's not something that I've used a great deal of. I've used it a great deal this year targeting place, and had some really good results with it. It seems to fly, and I mean it's very aerodynamic. Rob York and Gav Cuthbertson have been using it for the last couple of years, to be fair, up on Chesil and different places. One of the good things about the rig, enables you to use a very long trace, and I mean a very long trace. You could use a 15-foot trace, you could use a 12-foot trace, you could use a 10-foot trace. You can make the trace of the rig as long as you want, and when it folds up, obviously as it connects to the rig itself, it enables you to fly a bait still and keep a bait nice and compact and tight to the rig. And it really does fly. I mean, crab baits, ragworm baits, sand eel, squid, bluey, attached to that, you'll send the bait to the horizon, you really will. So what we're going to do is go through the general makeup of the rig, and it's fairly easy, to be fair. It's not very difficult. This is one I've had Gav made for me. we were placing, and they talked about the rig, and he kindly made me one up, which I've got here to demonstrate for you. What I've got is I've got a couple of versions, so I've got bigger versions and medium versions, but they're very easy to do, guys. Okay, you don't need a lot of components. Beads, line to make your stop lots, swivels, obviously £100 Gemini swivels, or the Coxswain swivels I would recommend. You've got the imps on the end, which obviously do the trick for baiting it down, but everything is made out of quality components, and the bar itself is not going nowhere. So this is one what Gav's made up, but the way one of the little bits I've seen to do, this is a boom rig from Gemini with the lead clip on. If you got a pair of pliers and basically cut that off, so you'd be left with that, right? This would be a perfect example at that length for a place rig. You know what I mean? You don't, if you're putting a single place bait out there, a crab bait or a ragworm bait or something, you don't need necessarily a very long bar as you would like these two. So if you're using like whole squid baits and stuff like that, then that would be the sort of thing to go for. It's made up version of the boom, but obviously it's been upgraded with the swivels. It's been upgraded with the spring, and it's compact every time. But you've got that one, and you've got a medium sized one which would be ideal fitted for a sand eel. As you can see there, it's works a treat. Imp on the end for clipping down, but we're going to go through the place ones anyway. So this is the one I've got made up here with attached line ready to go. Okay, so basically what I'll do is I'll put a lead on there, Continental lead, ready to go. So that's all clipped down now. So it's very simple the way it goes. So that is how I would have the bait attached. Okay, so your bait would be sat there like that, lead in the tide, so on. But to actually connect the rig up, what you do is you've got the top power swivel, which would connect to your main line, and you've got the bottom one, the spring, what moves up and down. The cascade swivel needs to be the same size between the hook point and the trace, between your imp and to make it work and pull down. Okay, so basically what you would do is you get the cascade swivel, bring it over the top of that one there, pull it down underneath where you want it to go into the imp, and then the spring does itself. Okay, so you're left with that. Everything nice and compact, and it's perfect for casting. It will fly a very long way. So as you can see now, if I'm going up like that, I've got the loop left over. That's 4 foot, so I'm left with a 2-foot loop, but by the time it pans out, you're probably talking about just over a foot in length. Okay, but I could do that and make that 10 foot with a big low and trace, and that's not going to really stop a lot distance in the air. That would just fly through the air with a power cast. But the thing I like about it is this part here. So basically what I'm going to do now is going to flick the imp up as it touches the water, and it flies out. See that? Leaving a free flowing trace. So as you can see on here now, we've got the lead at the far end. We've got an imp then we've got the main bar. So basically it's got 2 beads and a stop knot over the top to create your hook point trace for your trace line. And then you go up the rig itself and you've got another couple of stop knots, okay? And then above that you've got a small bead, a spring, a bead, and then you've got your top power swivel, which you use to clip on your cascade swivel, which we'll go through in a minute. And on the top end of it there, you've got a power swivel to finish it off. And that's the case of it. You've got your trace line. The main part of it is setting it up, is to make sure you've got your hooks correct. So on this here now, we've got 2 Chinews, which Cox'n'Wall Chinews on that. Going up above that, I've got a bead, a bit of silicone tubing to hold the pennel hook into place. Then we've got a little stop knot for the bead. Obviously, if you're using worm or whatever, it stops it from sliding up. And then what we've got there then is a cascade swivel, and the cascade swivel is very important. That's actually a breakaway cascade swivel, very quality, very strong, and works a treat. So that basically, guys, is the bar rig. Very easy to make up, very effective. You can make them as small or as big as you want. I know guys was had to play around and look on the internet and get some springs and different things like that to make them up. You don't necessarily need to buy them. You will find places will sell them, but you can make them up very easily and cost efficient. At the end of the day, it saves you a lot of money, and it is a very, very nice rig to use for place fishing. As I said, you want a nice long flowing trace, well away from the bait. It's ideal. Exactly the same for ray fishing. If you're fishing anywhere where you want to get your lead far away from your bait as possible, then this really is a rig for you. It's a really cracking design, really. I think it was designed by a guy up in Dorset, and obviously it's been picked up quite quickly by a lot of the anglers, and a lot of guys are using this now. But that's the answer to the question, guys. That is the bar rig.